Imagine for a moment the architectural genius of a lifetime, a mind singularly focused on charting the definitive course to unparalleled achievement. Then envision a masterwork from that very same intellect, a manuscript so profoundly insightful, so utterly unyielding in its truth that it was deliberately condemned to shadows for over 70 years. This is not some abstract historical curiosity. This is the suppressed legacy of Napoleon Hill, the very man who codified the immutable laws of success in Think and Grow Rich. How does one reconcile such a monumental figure, whose teachings illuminated the path to prosperity for millions, with the dark stain of a work deemed too perilous for public consumption? Consider the weight of that silence, 7 decades where a vital piece of the human success puzzle lay dormant, gathering dust, its profound wisdom locked away from those who needed it most. This is no mere literary anecdote. This is a stark testament to the inherent power and indeed the perceived danger of the truths contained within Outwitting the Devil. It is not simply a forgotten volume. It is a meticulously crafted dialogue, a chilling exposition on the mechanisms of human failure, the subtle machinations of societal conditioning, and the insidious forces that relentlessly conspire against individual triumph. What then did Napoleon Hill discover? What foundational truths did he unearth that were considered so profoundly incendiary, so fundamentally disruptive to the prevailing order that their very existence threatened the delicate balance of an established world? Was it a challenge to dogma, a rebellion against conformity, or perhaps a too explicit roadmap to genuine intellectual and spiritual liberation that frightened the guardians of the status quo? To truly comprehend its banishment, we must first accept that this book is not an extension of Think and Grow Rich. It is its necessary, often uncomfortable counterpoint. While the former teaches you how to build your empire, the latter reveals what actively seeks to undermine and dismantle it, often from within your own mind. We stand at the precipice of a revelation, a moment where the veil begins to lift on a suppressed manifesto. A candid, unvarnished conversation with what Hill termed the devil awaits, a conceptual entity embodying fear, doubt, procrastination, and the subtle art of mass indoctrination. This journey demands more than passive observation. It calls for a deep and unsettling reflection on your own convictions, on the unspoken forces that have, perhaps unbeknownst to you, shaped your aspirations, limited your potential, and dictated the very trajectory of your life. Are you prepared to confront these truths? Are you ready to question the comfort of your own ignorance? I assure you, unlocking the vault of Outwitting the Devil will not merely provide answers. It will compel you to ask far more significant questions of yourself. Napoleon Hill taught millions to chase their definite chief aim, to harness the power of a master mind, to overcome the paralyzing grip of fear and the inertia of indecision. His principles, diligently cataloged and meticulously presented, became the very bedrock for individuals striving to manifest their desires, to cultivate that unwavering focus that propels ambition from mere thought to tangible accomplishment. His magnum opus, Think and Grow Rich, became a beacon, illuminating a clear, actionable pathway for building personal empires and transforming lives across continents. It offered a blueprint, a precise methodology for achieving outward success, for conquering the external world through disciplined thought and persistent action. Its legacy is etched into the very fabric of modern self-improvement, a testament to the profound impact of organized planning and unwavering faith. Yet, woven into the very fabric of his prolific career, a profound and unsettling paradox existed. Parallel to this monumental achievement, a darker, more confrontational work lay dormant, deliberately withheld from the public consciousness for more than 3/4 of a century. While Think and Grow Rich eloquently articulated the constructive principles of success, Outwitting the Devil revealed with unflinching honesty the insidious forces actively working to prevent such success. It unveiled the unseen antagonists, the psychological shackles, and the societal currents that conspired to derail even the most determined individual. This was not a book about building. It was a profound dissection of destruction, a chilling exposé of the mechanisms of human failure. Think deeply for a moment. How could the architect of such empowering philosophies, the purveyor of hope and definite purpose, also author a manuscript so profoundly unsettling, so radically revealing, that it was sentenced to obscurity? The contrast itself demands scrutiny. Think and Grow Rich presented a hopeful vision of what one could achieve. Outwitting the Devil unveiled the cunning deceiver, the internal and external saboteur that ensures most people never even begin. This devil, as Hill meticulously detailed, was not a theological entity adorned with horns and a pitchfork. No, it was a far more subtle, pervasive, and therefore a far more dangerous antagonist. It was the master of drift, the insidious tendency towards apathy, indecision, and procrastination that suffocates potential before it can even breathe. It was the collective weight of societal conditioning, the fear-based narratives, and the systems, often well-intentioned, that inadvertently fostered conformity over individuality, servitude over self-sovereignty. These are the forces operating not just within the grand machinations of the world, but within the very recesses of your own mind. They are the unseen hands that tug at your resolve, the whispers that sow doubt, the comfortable routines that lull you into mediocrity. While Think and Grow Rich provided the map to your treasure, Outwitting the Devil exposed the booby traps and the hidden enemies along the way. It laid bare the psychological warfare waged against your own aspirations. How could one of these vital texts become a global phenomenon, celebrated and revered, while the other, equally critical, was deliberately buried, its truths deemed too potent, too inconvenient for generations? The answer lies not merely in historical happenstance, but in the profound, destabilizing nature of the truths it dared to articulate. It forced a confrontation with realities few are willing to face. The devil Hill spoke of was never a literal entity with horns and a pitchfork. Understand this clearly. To conceive of it as such would be to fall prey to one of its most cunning deceptions, to externalize the enemy, to believe that your greatest adversaries lie outside your own mind. No, Hill's devil was a master manipulator of the human psyche, an embodiment of the pervasive forces of drift, indoctrination, and fear. Forces that shape perceptions, suppress ambition, and subtly steer individuals away from their inherent power and purpose. It was, and still is, the collective unconsciousness, the unexamined assumptions, the pervasive whispers of conformity that bind humanity in a subtle yet unbreakable chain. Consider for a moment the very foundation of how human beings are prepared for life. From the earliest days, children are guided, instructed, and molded by systems designed, ostensibly, for their benefit. The educational institutions, the established religious doctrines, the unwritten laws of societal norms. Hill dared to articulate how these very systems, often constructed with the purest intentions, could inadvertently become instruments of this devil, creating a populace of drifters. What is a drifter? A soul devoid of a definite chief aim, a mind content to flow with the current of circumstance rather than charting its own deliberate course. Is this not a profound and uncomfortable truth? That the very structures meant to enlighten and guide might, in their pursuit of order and uniformity, strip away the individual's sovereign power to think, to question, and to truly decide. Outwitting the Devil was not merely a book about individual self-improvement in the conventional sense. It was a profound socio-psychological critique, a scalpel applied to the body of collective human experience. Hill argued with an almost chilling precision that organized religion, for instance, often perpetuated a climate of fear and guilt, unwittingly rendering individuals susceptible to the devil's influence. Was this blasphemy? Or was it a keen observation of how fear, in any form, becomes a barrier to free thought and independent action, preventing the individual from embracing their own divine potential? He observed that instead of fostering liberation and self-mastery, certain interpretations inadvertently created dependence, making individuals more amenable to control, less inclined to challenge authority, and tragically, less likely to recognize their own latent power. This was a radical challenge not to faith itself, but to the very foundation of how people were taught to think, to believe, and to live their lives within the confines of established narratives. Reflect deeply on this. When a mind is saturated with messages designed to induce fear, fear of poverty, fear of judgment, fear of social ostracization, does it truly possess the freedom necessary to cultivate an unshakable, definite purpose? Does it have the courage required to pursue a dream that defies convention? In an era desperate for stability, reeling from economic collapse, and seeking traditional answers in the face of widespread uncertainty, such a direct and unvarnished assault on the mechanisms of control, even benign control, was deemed profoundly destabilizing. It suggested that much of what was considered normal or good might in fact be an impediment to true human flourishing. It was a call to intellectual anarchy, not in a destructive sense, but in the sense of liberating the individual mind from external domination. Such a profound reevaluation of established order was, for its time, considered too volatile, too dangerous to be unleashed upon a world that preferred the comfort of familiar illusions, however limiting they might be. The inherent power of this book, and the reason for its suppression, lies precisely in its capacity to awaken the individual from this state of hypnotic drift. It forces you to ask, am I truly living my own life, guided by my own definite chief aim, or am I merely a product of the collective programming that surrounds me? Have I been indoctrinated, subtly, unconsciously, into a pattern of thought and action that serves someone else's agenda, or perhaps no agenda at all, other than maintaining the status quo? This was the uncomfortable truth that Hill laid bare, and it is a truth that still resonates, often painfully, today. The official narrative, the one carefully constructed and passed down through generations, points to Hill's own widow, Annie Lou, as the primary agent of this extraordinary suppression. Her stated concern, a fear of inevitable public outrage, particularly from powerful and deeply entrenched religious institutions of the era, was presented as the rationale for burying Outwitting the Devil. She believed, perhaps genuinely, that its radical ideas, its direct interrogation of established beliefs and societal structures, would tarnish Hill's carefully built legacy, perhaps even invite a backlash so severe it would undermine the very positive message of think and grow rich. But allow me to interject a crucial question here, a question that demands profound introspection. Let us apply Hill's own principles, the very lessons I spent a lifetime articulating, to this particular moment of decision. Was this profound fear on Annie Lou's part an isolated emotion? Or was it, in its essence, a manifestation, an almost perfect execution of the very devil that Hill meticulously described in the manuscript itself? Think about it. The devil operates through the cultivation and exploitation of fear, does it not? It thrives in the fertile ground of apprehension, hesitation, and the desire to avoid discomfort. Could it be that the very forces Hill sought to expose found their most potent expression not through external adversaries, but through the well-meaning yet fear-driven actions of those closest to him? Consider the immense pressure of maintaining a public persona, of safeguarding a burgeoning legacy in an age where reputation was meticulously curated and easily shattered. In the mid-20th century, before the digital age, fragmented information, and diversified opinion, a public figure's standing was fragile, beholden to powerful opinion makers and influential institutions. Was Annie Lou's decision a conscious, strategic choice to protect a carefully curated public image, a necessary evil to ensure the broader, more palatable messages of success could survive and thrive? Or was it, tragically, an unconscious succumbing to the drift of societal expectation, an almost involuntary capitulation to the subtle tyranny of what ought to be believed, rather than what truly is? This is not a judgment, but an observation of the subtle ways the human mind, even with the best intentions, can be swayed from its definite purpose when confronted with the immense pressure of perceived consequences. In the volatile context of the 1930s and 40s, a direct and unreserved challenge to religious authority, a book that explicitly questioned the methods and motivations behind organized faith, could have been catastrophic. It could have not only tarnished Hill's intellectual legacy, but led to widespread ostracization, fierce boycotts, and a complete dismissal of all his work, including Think and Grow Rich. Imagine the financial ruin, the professional immolation that awaited anyone daring to confront the pervasive influence of religious institutions in that era. Such a move might have silenced him entirely, preventing any future dissemination of his life-changing philosophies. Thus, the family, caught in this impossible dilemma, became the unwitting guardians of a comfortable lie, preserving the brand, the outward manifestation of Hill's success, while simultaneously suppressing a deeper, more challenging truth. They prioritized the public's acceptance of the light over their readiness to confront the shadow that Hill so meticulously illuminated. They sought to protect the messenger, and in doing so, temporarily buried a message whose time, they believed, had not yet come. This act, born of fear and perceived necessity, inadvertently prolonged humanity's dance with the very devil Hill sought to expose. Consider, if you will, the vast, almost unfathomable chasm that separated the cultural landscape of 1938 from the world that finally embraced Outwitting the Devil in 2011. This immense span of time is not merely a quantitative measure. It represents a profound qualitative shift in the collective consciousness of humanity. To understand why Hill's most confrontational work was deemed too dangerous for its original era, we must immerse ourselves in the very essence of that bygone time, and then contrast it with the nascent readiness of a generation nearly a century later. In the deep shadows of the Great Depression, with the specter of another world war looming ominously on the horizon, society craved not questioning, but affirmation. It sought stability, not disruption, conformity, not radical individualism. People yearned for clear-cut answers, for strong leadership, for anything that promised order in a world consumed by chaos and economic despair. The prevailing ethos was one of collective survival, of adhering to established norms, of finding solace in institutions that offered a semblance of security, however illusory. In such an environment, the populace, weakened by hardship and uncertainty, was profoundly susceptible to what I termed drift. Their definite chief aims, if they ever possessed them, were often eclipsed by the immediate need for sustenance and safety. Hill's raw, unvarnished exposé of fear, of spiritual stagnation, of the intellectual drift that binds individuals to mediocrity, would have been perceived as not merely controversial, but profoundly destabilizing. His book dared to suggest that the very systems offering comfort, religious doctrine, governmental narratives, conventional education, were, in their own subtle ways, contributing to the very devil he was illustrating. He articulated how these forces encouraged reliance on external authority rather than fostering the internal self-reliance so crucial for success. For a world desperately clinging to authority and tradition, Hill's message was a direct assault on its coping mechanisms. People were not ready to examine the invisible chains that bound them, for those chains, however restrictive, also offered the illusion of protection. The truth in that moment was considered too potent, too liberating, and therefore too dangerous to be unleashed upon minds conditioned for submission. It was a time when the master mind of humanity was deeply entangled in its own limiting beliefs, too entrenched in collective fear to truly welcome the challenging mirror Outwitting the Devil held up to it. But then, the world continued to turn. Decades passed, marked by unprecedented technological advancement, the explosion of information, and a gradual yet profound shift in global perspective. By 2011, a new generation had emerged, one that had grown up with the internet, with unprecedented access to diverse ideas and a burgeoning inclination to question authority. This generation, less burdened by the immediate trauma of global depression and war, was hungry for authenticity, for self-empowerment, and for narratives that challenged the status quo. The collective consciousness, the metaphorical mastermind of society, had evolved. It had, through countless small acts of defiance and discovery, cultivated a greater capacity for self-reflection, a deeper yearning for individual agency. The book itself, Outwitting the Devil, remained unchanged throughout those 70-plus years. Its words, its insights, its dialogue with the forces of human failure, all were preserved exactly as Hill had penned them. What transformed was not the message, but the receptivity of the audience. The world had finally begun to prepare itself for the profound, often uncomfortable truths it contained. The seeds of self-help and personal development, sown in part by Hill's own prior work, had blossomed into a widespread cultural phenomenon. People were actively seeking to understand their own internal obstacles, to overcome psychological barriers, and to claim their individual power. They were ready to look past superficial explanations and delve into the deeper, more complex mechanisms that dictated their lives. Thus, the release of Outwitting the Devil in 2011 was not merely a delayed publishing event, it was a cultural awakening. It signaled a collective readiness to confront our inner and outer devils with a newfound courage and intellectual honesty. It was a testament to the idea that truth, no matter how long suppressed, eventually finds its moment to emerge, aligning with the evolving capacity of humanity to receive and integrate it. The very existence of the book, its journey from banishment to widespread acceptance, serves as a powerful reminder that the principles of success are timeless, but their full comprehension often awaits the readiness of the human spirit. When Outwitting the Devil finally emerged from its long-enforced silence, it did far more than simply add another chapter to my body of work. It provided what I consider to be the missing instruction manual for the Think and Grow Rich philosophy. Understand this crucial distinction. Think and Grow Rich offered the grand blueprint, the architectural design for manifesting your desires, for building the mental and physical structures necessary for extraordinary achievement. It meticulously laid out the principles of faith, persistence, imagination, and organized planning, guiding you toward the creation of your definite chief aim. But a blueprint, however brilliant, is often insufficient without an equally comprehensive guide on how to navigate the inevitable obstacles, how to dismantle the psychological and societal landmines that are relentlessly, often subtly, placed in your path. This is precisely where Outwitting the Devil reveals its unparalleled and indispensable value. It taught us not merely how to construct success, but critically how to dismantle the insidious psychological and societal obstacles that relentlessly sabotage it. Think of it as the defensive strategy to the offensive play of Think and Grow Rich. While one showed you how to cultivate unwavering belief, the other exposed the mechanisms of doubt. While one championed definite purpose, the other unmasked the alluring pull of aimless drift. It laid bare the internal saboteurs, fear, procrastination, indecision, and the external forces, dogma, propaganda, social conformity, that conspire to keep individuals from ever truly accessing their inherent power. Without an understanding of these adversarial forces, even the most profound ambition can be chipped away, slowly, insidiously, until the dream becomes a distant memory, replaced by a life of quiet desperation or unfulfilled potential. Reflect on your own experiences. Have there not been moments, even after grasping the principles of definite purpose or the master mind, where you found yourself inexplicably stalled, pulled off course by an invisible current? Have you not wrestled with nagging doubts, sudden surges of fear, or the seductive comfort of doing nothing at all? These are not mere personal failings. They are often the deliberate, well-orchestrated maneuvers of the very devil I described. Outwitting the Devil provided the counter-strategy, the mental jujutsu required to recognize these tactics and neutralize them before they gain a foothold in your consciousness. It offered the insights necessary to turn potential defeat into an opportunity for growth, to see the hidden hand of limitation, and then to decisively sever its grip. This suppressed wisdom revealed that true freedom and ultimate success are not solely about accumulating wealth or achieving material possessions. While these are often important manifestations of success, they are but a single dimension. The deeper, more profound victory lies in achieving mental, spiritual, and intellectual liberation from the forces that seek to control your thoughts, to dictate your actions, and to prescribe the very boundaries of your existence. It is about breaking free from the unseen chains of indoctrination, shedding the burden of inherited fears, and reclaiming the sovereignty of your own mind. This book, therefore, is the ultimate guide to self-sovereignty, a declaration of independence for the individual intellect and spirit. It teaches you to be the undisputed master of your own destiny, immune to the subtle manipulations of the devil and its various manifestations. It is a direct and unfiltered transmission of knowledge from the man who dedicated his life to perfecting the science of success, delivering the final, crucial piece of the puzzle that ensures not just temporary achievement, but enduring, self-directed triumph over every form of adversity. The profound narrative of outwitting the devil's suppression, its long confinement in the shadows, is not merely a historical footnote, nor is it merely a testament to the timidity of an era. It serves as a singularly powerful lesson, a stark reminder that truth, particularly inconvenient truth, often faces the fiercest resistance. This resistance manifests most acutely when that truth dares to challenge deeply ingrained patterns of thought, established systems of belief, and the comfortable, albeit limiting, norms that humanity tends to construct around itself. Its eventual release, its triumph over decades of enforced silence, stands as an unshakable testament to the enduring power of profound wisdom. It illustrates that some truths are simply too vital to be extinguished, too resonant to remain forever unheard. They await the moment humanity is ready, the moment its collective consciousness has evolved enough to receive them. Now, with this understanding firmly in your grasp, having journeyed through the reasons why this potent manuscript was hidden away for so long, the question that truly matters shifts from the historical to the intensely personal. The knowledge has been unveiled. The mechanisms of the devil, that pervasive force of doubt, fear, and inertia, have been meticulously laid bare. The insights into how collective and individual conditioning can derail even the most sincere aspirations are now within your intellectual reach. But what then? The crucial inquiry becomes, what devil is currently operating in your own life? This is not an academic exercise. This is an urgent call for introspection, a demand for radical honesty. What hidden fears, perhaps so deeply embedded you no longer recognize them as fear, are subtly dictating your choices? What inherited doubts, whispers from the past or projections from the present, are holding you captive, preventing you from taking that decisive step toward your true potential? What insidious forms of societal conditioning, the expectations of others, the unconscious pursuit of validation, the unexamined acceptance of the way things are currently holding you back from your definite chief aim? For if you truly embrace my teachings, if you sincerely aspire to manifest your deepest desires, then you must first be willing to identify and confront these internal and external antagonists. The knowledge, once forbidden, is now yours. You have been granted a unique perspective, a lens through which to analyze not only the world around you, but, more importantly, the inner workings of your own mind. Will you allow this profound revelation to remain merely a piece of interesting historical trivia, another intellectual curiosity to be filed away? Or will you summon the courage, the conviction, and the unwavering purpose to wield this insight, to deploy it as a weapon in the ongoing battle for your own self-mastery? The choice, as always, rests with you. The principles are timeless, the truths immutable, but their application, their power to transform, resides solely in your conscious decision to act. Use this understanding to outwit your own devils, to shatter the invisible chains, and to reclaim the boundless potential that is your birthright. Thank you for embarking on this profound journey with me, for daring to delve into the depths of suppressed knowledge and to confront the uncomfortable truths that reshape our understanding of success and human potential. We have, together, uncovered a critical chapter of intellectual history, a testament to the fact that genuine wisdom, no matter how fiercely resisted or painstakingly concealed, will ultimately find its way to those who are ready to receive it. The story of Outwitting the Devil is not merely about a book. It is a timeless parable about the enduring struggle between human aspiration and the forces that seek to confine it. Remember this fundamental principle. The journey to true and lasting success is not a static destination, but a dynamic, continuous process of learning, of adapting, and most importantly, of summoning the unwavering courage to confront your own hidden truths. This involves not only identifying the principles that lead to achievement, but also understanding and neutralizing the very forces that actively impede it. Never cease to question, never cease to explore, and never allow the comfortable illusions of the collective mind to dictate the boundless potential of your individual spirit. Continue this vital conversation. Share your reflections, your realizations, and the insights you have gained from this unveiling. What aspects of this narrative resonated most deeply within you? What devil have you identified within your own path? Let your thoughts contribute to the growing mastermind of those who refuse to drift. Stay focused on your definite purpose, nurture your ambitions, and never stop growing rich, not just in wealth, but in wisdom, in character, and in the profound, liberating understanding of yourself.